What's going on, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Let's talk Caleb Plant. Recently won a fight against Vincent Boots. All right, none of us knew who he was, but he's not a bum. Okay, what I will say is he's not a bum. He's not Mike Lee. Mike Lee was a bum. Okay, uh, Vincent Boots was the top contender at the IBF at the time. All right, he was the highest rank. I don't know if this fight was mandated by the IBF, but he was the top contender there. So Caleb Plant got that out of the way. He shouldn't have any obligations with the IBF right now. Hopefully his next fight will be some type of unification match. Especially I'm hoping more towards David Benavidez. Now let's talk about Canelo. Right, he beats Fighting Boots. I don't need to go into Fighting Boots. I looked him up. He has a great KO ratio. He's fought solid fighters. He hasn't fought anyone big with a big name or anything. No elite level fighters, but he was solid. It was a solid win. It was a good TKO, and it is what it is. Good performance by Plant, not taking anything away from him. But like everyone else, I'm ready to see him really, really step up. You know, I know he beat Jose Ustak Takei, and that was a good win. Uh, but I want to see something else. Mike Lee, Fighting Boots is. We want to see a little bit more. Like I'm ready to see him really, really step up. I mean, I've been following him for a while now, and I've been waiting, patiently waiting for him to really, really turn it up and fight someone good. So hopefully his next fight would be against David Benavidez. Benavidez has been calling him out. Benavidez is a champion at 168. They're both PBC fighters, so the fight should be made. All right. Now the whole Canelo thing. Uh, I was very surprised to see that he turned the fight down. But at the same time, it seems like everyone is turning the fight down from Canelo. I mean, based on the reports. Like at first we heard that Canelo was gonna be fighting Ryota Murata, right? Out in Japan. And then, we heard that recently we heard about rejections with Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, and now Caleb Plant. We also heard that Jamal Charlo had rejected an offer to fight Canelo Alvarez. Right? Eddie Hearn directly sent him an email offer, and Jamal Charlo turned that down as well. So these are guys that have been talking a good game about fighting Canelo, have been wanting to fight Canelo, and they recently rejected offers. Now Caleb Plant already said, like, look, I'm not gonna fight you now on your own terms. I want to fight you when I'm ready to fight you. I'm not gonna fight you. He said that he wanted the Canelo fight before. He's previously said it, but right now he's basically saying like, look, I just got off the camp. I just got off a fight. I'm not gonna go right into May 2nd. We're already halfway through February. Take after taking a couple weeks, we got to go right back into camp. He doesn't want to do it. Um, and I know a lot of people are comparing this to like Kovalev. Like Kovalev had fought yard and went right back into camp. I think that's unfair to compare to Kovalev. Because if you compare it to Kovalev, Kovalev took a lot of damage in that fight against Anthony Yard. Kovalev is a lot older than Caleb Plant. A lot older. He's been through a lot. He's had his losses. He had his knockout losses. Uh, and plus the restrictions on top of fighting Canelo, with the same day weigh-ins and stuff like that. That's a lot. That's a lot for a seasoned fighter. And a lot of people are saying like, look, he doesn't want to be with, he doesn't want to be like Kovalev. But then at the same time, people are comparing this to Andy Ruiz, and I think that's not right either. Andy Ruiz, yes, he did take the Joshua fight last minute. He was a replacement fighter. He had just had a fight against Dimitrenko, and he went into the Joshua fight and won and he made history. He was a unified champion. He was the first Mexican champion, all of this stuff. That's all good. But the circumstances were totally different. Andy Ruiz was on the grind at the time, wasn't a champion. It didn't look like he was anywhere near of getting an opportunity of having a big fight like that. The opportunity wasn't there. Caleb Plant right now, or at the time, comparing to what Andy Ruiz was at that time, totally, totally different. Totally, totally different. And Caleb Plant seems to be comfortable where he's at, whatever that means. All right. So the circumstances are definitely different from Andy Ruiz and Caleb Plant. What do I feel? First of all, I think it's kind of ridiculous that all of these guys are rejecting offers from Canelo in general. All of them. I'm really really surprised. Uh, Billy Joe Saunders, from what we're hearing, he's most likely to fight Canelo. So maybe they work something out. You can't base everything on the reports because the reporters usually, the promoters usually want to put stuff out there just to see, to feel the fans out, feel what the people are saying. And there's been so many names that's come up lately when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. We don't know what's really gonna happen. I've heard Jamal Charlo, I've heard Ryota Murata, we heard Caleb Plant, we've heard Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders. We heard so many fighters at this point. We really don't know what Canelo is going to do. Canelo does what he wants. Canelo might not even know of any of this. This is what Oscar might just be putting out. The promoters might just be putting out. We really don't know anything. But Caleb Plant, if there was a real offer made and the money was fine, right, I do believe that Caleb Plant should have taken the opportunity. Yes, I do believe that. I understand where he's coming from. I'm not going to attack him because if that's how he feels, he wants to be even better. That's how he feels. That's his decision. I'm not going to go as hard with him because he's been kind of very, very low key. But as a champion, I kind of wish he took the fight if the offer was good because just I want to see him step up. Now if he turned down the Canelo fight. So if the Canelo fight is not happening and he goes on to fight David Benavidez at a later time, and that's his very next fight, which I think should be his very next fight, then I wouldn't have a problem with him turning down Canelo fight. If he decides to fight David in the summer and it's a unification match, then I could be like, all right, you know what? Cool. You know what? He didn't fight Canelo, but he fought David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I wouldn't look at it as a duck. I kind of feel similar to how I felt with the Devin Haney and Lomachenko thing. Because people were saying Loma was ducking Devin Haney, but if Loma goes on to fight Teofimo Lopez, like he said he would fight the winner of Coleman and Lopez. If he goes on to do that, then I'm not looking at him as a ducking Devin Haney, especially if he goes back and still fights Devin Haney later on, which he might really do. So I'm kind of just like waiting. It's too early to really say that he's ducking, but at the same time, I wish he did take the fight if the offer was right. You know, my whole thing and with all of this that I'm saying, right? My whole issue is this: if all of these guys are really rejecting offers, like if Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo, if all of these guys are really rejecting real offers, my issue is why are they not giving Demetrius Andre the opportunity? Like I'm sure Andre would have taken 5 million to fight Canelo Alvarez. Like if all of these guys are really ducking and really like rejecting offers and stuff like that, why not give it to a guy that's really willing to fight you? Caleb Smith is not no big name. Caleb Plant is not a big name. They're not any real bigger names than a Demetrius Andre. Like all of these guys are kind of like on the same level. They're not like super famous boxers. So I don't see why like not give the opportunity to Demetrius Andre. I mean, if this guy is really willing to face Canelo, why not give him the opportunity? What more did Caleb Plant do to Demetrius Andre did? Caleb Plant don't have no real crazy people names on his resume. So why not give it to Demetrius Andre, a guy that really wants to fight Canelo? That's my issue with all of this. I want to see all of these guys fight Canelo. I actually want to see I would like Billy Joe Saunders or Caleb Plant or Demetrius. I said, well, Demetrius Andre has been like my number one guy to fight Canelo for a while now. I've been wanting to fight. I wanted to see that fight back at 154. I wanted to see that fight back when Andre actually held the WBO title at 154. When we was having all these promotion issues and stuff, and when he wasn't as active. But man, like, dude, what's the excuse at this point for not giving Andre the opportunity? He's a DAZN fighter. Like, give him the opportunity. If all these guys don't want to face him, Andre just had a fight a couple weeks ago. Let Andre get an opportunity to fight. That's my whole stance on it. You know. So I'm not mad at Ryota Murata fight neither. I mean, he's solid. I even said that I'm cool with that. I'm not mad at that fight because Canelo did fight Andre. I mean, he did fight not Andre. He fought Jacobs last year. Um, and he fought Kovalev last year, and he had two fights with Golovkin. I mean, it's not like he's fighting bums. Rocky Fielding wasn't a good fight, but besides that, the majority of his fights were pretty decent ones. It's some ones that I've had issues with, but yeah, man. I mean, Canelo so far. I mean, recently, like he's been okay. He's been solid when it comes to me. He's been on and off, but recently he's been solid. And I'm saying, why not give Andre the fight? I mean, that's a guy that really want to fight you, and I think that's a guy that can really give you a good fight. Why not fight him? If Caleb Plant and all of these other guys are rejecting offers, why not fight Andre? But yeah, I think Caleb should have definitely fought Canelo. And um, a lot of guys been turning down Canelo, and it kind of reminds me of last year when Joshua was looking for an opponent. It seemed like a lot of guys didn't want to fight Joshua last year. When they were looking for the replacement. Here comes Andy Ruiz, but Andy Ruiz was at a completely different point in his career at that point. This is a guy that was looking really hungry, looking for an opportunity to fight someone big. If he didn't get the Joshua fight, who would he have faced? He wasn't looking to face anyone big at that time. It just kind of fell into his lap. And fortunately for him, he didn't fight Joshua on his best day. So anyway, listen, uh I don't know, man. I think it's real strange how these guys are all turning down Canelo and stuff like that, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I mean, I don't think the restrictions are a good enough excuse. I know people don't like the fact that he does a same day weigh-in thing, but to me, I'm still more fine with that than the catch weight. I think the catch weight has always been an issue with me, always been it. But every A-side fighter in the history for years, I mean, we're talking about all-time great fighters. They've been doing this catch weight thing for a long time. This is way before our time, way before this generation. All of them been doing it. I would take the same day weigh-in restriction over the catch weight thing. At least he's fighting guys that are literally um at the right weight. He's not letting them blow up a whole bunch of weight. You might not like it, but I don't think, Caleb knows his body. I'm not gonna sit here and tell I don't box. I'm not gonna tell Caleb what he should be doing with his weight or his time that he has, but I mean, really, is it really that close? Is it really that close? If you're really that confident and thinking that you could beat this guy, do you really think you're gonna be burnt out? And if you really think that Canelo is really trying to fight him at a weaker point, what does that say about Canelo? Do you think that Canelo is like really fighting guys when they're a weaker version of themselves by doing this? Is he really doing that? That takes credibility away from Canelo if you believe that, and his wins. You're gonna go and say that Jacobs was a weaker version of himself. Jacob told me to my face that he was drained that day. And now he's fighting at 168. Was it just an excuse or was he really drained? You know, if that's the case, you shouldn't be fighting at 160. Because even when he fought at Triple G, he didn't come up. that day. He didn't do the same day weigh in. He didn't show up. He was much bigger than Triple G that night. All right. Kovalev, I could see it though. Kovalev to me didn't look strong, and I don't even think it's based solely off the restriction. I just think that Kovalev, he didn't look strong that night. A lot of people think that he gave up the fight. You know, he threw the fight away. I don't know. I'm just long with. I'm being long winded now. I'm getting out of here, man. Peace.